The galaxy had been at war for years. Alien ships fought in the stars, their battles shaking the very fabric of space. The war had spread across countless worlds, and no one was safe. Planets were destroyed, and species were wiped out in the blink of an eye. But Earth was different. Humans had stayed out of the war, not because they were weak, but because they had a secret so powerful that no one in the galaxy had ever known about it. The alien races thought little of Earth. To them, humanity was just another primitive species, too busy with their small problems to notice the greater conflicts raging around them. Earth's military power seemed laughable compared to the massive alien fleets that had been fighting for years. Human weapons were outdated, their ships were old, and their technology seemed far behind the advanced alien civilizations. Earth had never been a target for the galactic warlords. Until now. Far beyond Earth's atmosphere, in the cold, dark vacuum of space, massive fleets gathered. The alien forces, having wiped out entire worlds, now focused on the blue planet that had always remained silent. They were confident. Earth was nothing to fear. In the alien war councils, the leaders laughed at the idea that a human force could be anything more than a distraction. What could they possibly do against us? They mocked. We will crush them in an instant, just like every other weak species before them. The galaxy's most powerful armies had one goal: control. Whoever held Earth would control the future of the galaxy. It was said that Earth was rich in resources, and its people were resilient. The aliens believed that once they had conquered Earth, they could use the humans as slaves or worse, wipe them out completely and take whatever they wanted. But the humans weren't blind to the galaxy's actions. They had seen the destruction, heard the stories of entire planets falling. Earth's leaders knew that someday they would have to make a choice. They could either stand and fight, or let their world fall into the hands of ruthless conquerors. For years, the Earth kept a low profile. The world had grown tired of the war, but its leaders knew they couldn't ignore the threat forever. They made a plan, one that would stay hidden from the galaxy. Earth's leaders knew that if they ever revealed what they had built, it would change everything. No one would expect what they had hidden for so long. As the years passed, Earth's people carried on with their everyday lives. They didn't know about the fleet hidden beneath the surface, beneath the oceans, buried deep within secret bases and locations. They didn't know that they had one of the most advanced fleets ever created, ready to emerge at a moment's notice. The galaxy had no idea that the real power of Earth had been kept a secret for so long. Now, the time had come. The first signs of alien ships approaching Earth's atmosphere were detected. The galaxy's most powerful fleets, those who had never considered Earth a real threat, were moving in. These fleets had seen battles across the stars, and they were coming to Earth as though it was just another planet to conquer. They had no idea what they were walking into. On Earth, military leaders sat in dark rooms, monitoring the situation. The quiet was deafening. No one spoke, but everyone knew what was about to happen. The tension in the air was thick, but it wasn't fear that hung over the planet. It was something else. The calm before the storm. The leaders were ready. They had been waiting for this day, knowing that one day, Earth's secret would be revealed. They had trained in silence, built their fleets in the deepest shadows, and kept everything hidden from the prying eyes of the galaxy. Now, that secret was about to come to light. The first wave of alien ships entered Earth's orbit. The massive, menacing crafts filled the sky, and on every alien ship, the commanders smiled, thinking this would be an easy victory. They didn't know that the battle was already over, and they hadn't even realized it yet. Far beneath the Earth's surface, inside a secure command center, human hands moved with precision. A single order was given, and the engines of Earth's fleet roared to life. The ships, which had been dormant for so long, powered up. They were no longer silent. In the depths of space, the first sign of Earth's hidden power appeared. A single ship, massive and sleek, rose from the dark depths of the planet. Its engines hummed, and the ship began to glide effortlessly into the stars, followed by hundreds of others that had been waiting in silence. But even as the first ships left Earth's atmosphere, there was no panic. No one on Earth screamed or shouted in fear. They didn't need to. They had a plan, and it was unfolding just as they had always known it would. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their future, for the survival of every human being who had ever lived. Back in the alien war councils, the news came like a sudden blow. The ships, Earth's ships, were real. They weren't just rumors or myths. They were here, and they were ready to fight. The aliens didn't know how to react. How could something so small, so insignificant, hold such power? The calm had ended. The storm was here, and Earth's hidden fleet had awakened. In the void of space, where silence reigned supreme, a new chapter was being written. The first signs of Earth's hidden fleet began to manifest in ways that no one could have predicted. What had been a myth, a mere rumor, was now reality, and the galaxy was on the brink of discovering just how wrong they were about humanity. The alien forces that had gathered at the edge of Earth's atmosphere thought they were prepared for anything. Their weapons were advanced, their ships powerful. They had seen countless worlds fall, civilizations crumble under their might, and they were confident that Earth, with all its seeming weakness, would be no different. The idea that Earth could have anything capable of standing against them was laughable. But as Earth's fleet stirred from its long slumber, a feeling of dread began to spread among the alien commanders. It started with an unexpected signal, a signal that cut through the deep silence of space, breaking through the frequencies that the aliens had been monitoring. At first, they thought it was just a glitch. But then came more signals, stronger and clearer, and it was impossible to ignore. In secret underground bunkers, hidden deep beneath the oceans and deserts of Earth, a series of enormous ships powered up. They had been dormant for centuries, waiting for the right moment to arise. These ships, designed by Earth's greatest minds, were far more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen. Their size, speed, and firepower were beyond imagination, their stealth capabilities unmatched. Humanity had built this fleet not out of fear, but as a safeguard, a secret weapon for the day when the galaxy would turn its eyes toward Earth. That day had arrived. On Earth, military leaders monitored the situation from command centers spread across the globe. Every eye was trained on the skies. The silence was almost deafening. No one spoke, but everyone knew that the moment they had been waiting for was finally here, the moment that would define the fate of their world. Far above the surface, the fleet began to rise from the depths of Earth's oceans. The ships moved with an eerie grace, their sleek forms cutting through the clouds like knives through butter. They didn't announce their arrival with a roar or a flash. They were silent, hidden from sight, until the last possible second. The very moment the alien ships would have thought they had complete control of the situation, Earth's fleet emerged from the shadows. The alien forces had no idea what was happening. One by one, massive ships began to appear out of nowhere, rising up from beneath the clouds and into the dark reaches of space. Their weapons powered on, their engines humming with raw energy. Each ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, and the galaxy had never seen anything like them. The first few alien ships that had been closest to Earth were the first to react. Their sensors were blaring with warnings, their systems going haywire as they detected the sudden presence of Earth's ships. The shock and confusion spread quickly. What was this? How was this possible? Earth was supposed to be weak, helpless. How could it have such a fleet? As the ships powered up, a sense of dread began to creep into the hearts of the alien commanders. They had underestimated humanity in the worst possible way. One by one, Earth's ships locked onto their targets. The alien fleet had thought they would be the ones to deliver the first blow, to crush Earth beneath their boots. Instead, the first strike came from Earth, from the very planet they had disregarded for so long. The alien ships fired their weapons, but Earth's fleet was ready. The first rounds from the alien ships missed entirely, as Earth's ships effortlessly dodged the attacks. The humans weren't just fighting to survive. They were fighting with purpose, with precision. Every move was calculated. Every shot was aimed to cripple, not destroy. At least not yet. The alien fleet tried to regroup, but it was too late. Earth's ships were everywhere, emerging from hidden locations all over the planet. The aliens thought they had superior technology, but Earth's fleet had been designed with one primary purpose: to be unstoppable. It was then that the first wave of aliens realized just how dangerous humanity could be. Earth was no longer the weak, defenseless planet they had once believed. Earth had a weapon, and that weapon was far stronger than anyone had ever imagined. Back on Earth, the leaders watched in silence. Their fleet was doing exactly what it was designed to do: shock and awe. But they weren't celebrating. They knew this was only the beginning. The aliens were only just beginning to understand the true strength of humanity. As Earth's fleet continued to engage the enemy, more ships emerged from the depths. Earth's fleet wasn't just a handful of ships. It was an entire armada, waiting for the moment to strike. The aliens had only just begun to understand the scale of the threat they were facing. The hidden fleet of Earth had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same again. For the first time in years, the galaxy was filled with uncertainty. The human fleet wasn't just fighting for survival. It was fighting to prove that Earth, despite everything, could stand tall and be a force to be reckoned with. The war that had seemed so one-sided was now a war that was anything but over. And in the hearts of the alien commanders, a question began to form. What else had humanity been hiding? The battle in the stars had begun, and it was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Earth's hidden fleet, once thought to be a myth, was now fully awake, and its might was a force that even the most powerful alien commanders had trouble fathoming. The first few moments of the confrontation had been nothing short of chaos for the alien invaders, as their advanced ships fired at Earth's fleet only to watch their shots miss or get deflected. It seemed as though Earth's ships had anticipated every move, and their response was swift, efficient, and deadly. At the heart of the conflict, Earth's ships were moving with a precision that shocked even the most battle-hardened alien commanders. They fought not with brute force, but with strategy and discipline. Every move was calculated, and every weapon fired was aimed to disable rather than destroy. It was a message to the invaders: humanity would not go down without a fight. The alien ships, originally confident in their superiority, were beginning to falter. The first signs of panic spread through their ranks. They had never fought an opponent like this before. Their weapons, while powerful, were no match for the agility and stealth of Earth's fleet. Alien ships that had once been the pride of their species now found themselves on the defensive. But despite their shock, the aliens were not quick to surrender. They regrouped, sending in reinforcements to overwhelm Earth's fleet. The galaxy's most advanced warships, larger and more heavily armed than anything Earth had, came to the forefront. With their massive size and firepower, they began to fight back with fury, determined to crush the human resistance once and for all. However, Earth's fleet had one advantage the aliens didn't: surprise. The invaders had expected a quick victory, and in their arrogance, they had failed to account for the one thing they couldn't predict: human ingenuity. The aliens had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt and evolve under pressure. And now, as the battle raged on, they were starting to realize their mistake. The warships from Earth responded with a series of well-timed counterattacks. Smaller, faster ships darted between the massive alien vessels, evading their attacks and disabling key systems with precision strikes. Meanwhile, the larger human ships emerged from hidden locations, taking up positions in orbit to create a defensive line that the alien forces struggled to breach. The battle had turned into a brutal tug-of-war in space, a chaotic, unpredictable dance of destruction. Each side was determined to claim victory, but the alien invaders were slowly coming to the terrifying realization that they weren't just facing a primitive species, They were facing a force that had been waiting, biding its time, and now had come to claim its place in the galaxy. From the command centers on Earth, the leaders watched with grim determination. Their fleet was performing admirably, but they knew this was just the beginning. The alien forces were vast, and their strength was formidable. The fight for Earth was far from over. And then something happened that no one could have predicted. A strange, pulsating energy wave shot through the alien fleet. It came from one of Earth's largest ships, the flagship of the Hidden Fleet, a vessel so enormous it could easily be mistaken for a small moon. The wave was unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered. It didn't just interfere with their ships. It seemed to tear through their defenses, disabling entire fleets with a single pulse. The energy wave was a weapon developed in secret by humanity's brightest minds. It was designed to disrupt the alien ships' advanced shields, rendering them useless and leaving them vulnerable to attack. The sheer force of the pulse sent shockwaves through the alien forces, throwing their fleets into disarray. As the aliens scrambled to regain control, Earth's ships closed in for the kill. Smaller fighters, which had been circling the perimeter of the battle, dove into the heart of the alien armada, launching precision missiles that ripped through weakened shields and blasted enemy vessels apart. The fleet, which had once been confident in its superiority, was now on the back foot, retreating into space in an attempt to regroup and recover. The tide of the battle had turned in Earth's favor, and the alien commanders knew they had to make a decision. The realization dawned upon them. This wasn't just a small skirmish. This was a fight for control of the galaxy, and Earth was not going to let itself be overrun. Humanity had been underestimated, and the alien fleets had paid the price. However, even as the humans gained ground, they knew that victory was still far from certain. The alien forces were vast, and reinforcements were on the way. Earth's fleet was still outnumbered, and the battles to come would only grow more intense. Yet, for the first time in the entire galactic war, the alien invaders were forced to question their assumptions. The galaxy was not as they had believed. Earth was not just another world to be conquered. It was a planet that had been hiding its true strength. And now that strength was unleashed, and it was far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The clash of titans continued in the depths of space, and as the aliens began to regroup, the leaders of Earth knew one thing. The fight for survival had just begun. The galaxy would never again see humanity as weak, defenseless, or insignificant. Earth had awakened, and nothing in the universe could stop it from making its mark on the stars. The battle in space raged on with Earth's fleet now solidly entrenched in the conflict. The alien invaders, stunned by the unexpected strength and tactics of humanity's ships, had slowly been pushed back, but their forces were not ready to surrender. The situation was tense, with both sides preparing for the next phase of the war. The tide had turned, but the war was far from over, and both sides knew that the stakes had risen dramatically. As Earth's fleet regrouped, the commanders on the surface of the planet could feel the weight of what was happening. They had expected resistance from the alien forces, but not this. They hadn't expected the aliens to adapt so quickly, to be so relentless in their pursuit of Earth's destruction. Yet, the humans had shown something the aliens had not anticipated: resilience. The alien commanders, meanwhile, were reeling from the unexpected loss of their ships. The energy wave from Earth's flagship had wreaked havoc on their fleet, and now their ships were scattered and disoriented. Their reinforcements were not arriving as quickly as they had hoped. Their strategic advantage had begun to slip away. On the galactic stage, this battle was no longer just about the fate of Earth. It had become a symbol, a statement of humanity's place in the universe. The alien invaders, who had once assumed they could easily crush this primitive world, now found themselves fighting for survival. The galaxy watched with bated breath as Earth's fleet pushed the invaders back. Back on Earth, the command centers were in a constant state of activity. The military leadership knew that despite the victories, there was no room for complacency. The enemy was regrouping, and Earth had to be ready for whatever came next. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Everyone knew that what came next could decide the fate of the planet, and possibly the entire galaxy. The Hidden Fleet, a powerful force that had been waiting in the wings, was now Earth's greatest weapon. But even the most advanced ships needed their commanders to be sharp, to be strategic. The leaders knew the next moments would define the war. On the front lines, Earth's fleet had begun to launch a series of tactical maneuvers. The alien forces were now being outmaneuvered on all sides, and it wasn't long before their flagship, the symbol of their strength and superiority, came under attack. The human fleet zeroed in on this target with frightening precision. Ships moved in coordinated waves, ensuring that the alien fleet was overwhelmed from all directions. Despite their best efforts to fight back, the aliens couldn't regain their footing. Their command structure was fractured, and their morale had begun to dip. The alien flagship, once seen as untouchable, was now under threat. The alien commanders, trapped in their own arrogance, could hardly comprehend the scale of what was happening. The alien flagship's shields flickered and began to fail, and it became clear that Earth's fleet had one goal in mind: the complete neutralization of the invaders' command. As the alien fleet scrambled to protect their flagship, the humans pressed forward with renewed vigor, determined to finish what they had started. At the same time, the leaders on Earth knew they had to act quickly. They couldn't let the alien fleet escape to regroup. Earth's fleet had them cornered, but time was running out. The alien forces had powerful reinforcements still en route. Humanity needed a victory, and they needed it now. With a final, coordinated push, Earth's fleet surrounded the alien flagship. Smaller ships darted in, evading the remaining alien defenses, while the larger ships concentrated their firepower on the flagship's weak points. Explosions rippled across the flagship's hull as Earth's fleet unleashed everything they had. The moment had arrived. The flagship, the heart of the alien invasion, was about to fall. In a final, desperate attempt to save their command ship, the alien forces launched a counterattack. The space around the flagship erupted in a cacophony of explosions as both sides threw everything they had into the battle. The energy beams from both fleets collided in flashes of light, lighting up the void of space. But the human fleet was relentless, and the alien flagship could not withstand the barrage. As the flagship's final defenses crumbled, the reality hit the alien commanders. Their invasion was crumbling. The flagship, the symbol of their entire operation, was destroyed. For the first time in the conflict, the alien forces began to retreat. Earth's fleet had won a decisive victory. The cheers echoed through the command centers on Earth, but the victory was bittersweet. The battle was not over. The alien invaders were retreating, but their reinforcements were still coming. Earth had gained a significant advantage, but the fight for survival was far from over. The war was entering a new phase. The aliens would not give up so easily. But one thing was clear: Earth had proven its strength. Humanity had shown the galaxy that it was no longer a helpless world, destined to be conquered. The great turning point had come, and there was no going back. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. The question now was, what would Earth do next? The invaders were retreating, but the war was not over. It had only just begun. With the destruction of the alien flagship, the war had reached a crucial moment. Earth's fleet stood victorious, but the victory felt like a brief respite in a much larger, ongoing conflict. The invaders, though disoriented and weakened, were still formidable. They had suffered a devastating blow, but their resolve remained unbroken. Earth's hidden fleet had shocked them once, but they would not be caught off guard again. As the alien forces retreated, they did not run in defeat. They retreated with purpose, regrouping in the dark corners of the galaxy, rallying their remaining strength for a final, decisive strike. They were vengeful, and the loss of their flagship would only fuel their desire to destroy humanity. But Earth's fleet was not idle. The leaders knew that this victory was not the end. It was just the beginning of a much larger struggle. The human fleet, though battered, had tasted victory, and that taste would fuel them for what was to come. The command centers on Earth had been working around the clock, coordinating the next phase of the war. The alien forces had suffered greatly, but they were not done. It was clear that the invaders were planning something massive, a final assault that would bring the fight directly to Earth. Humanity, however, had an advantage now: momentum. The aliens had underestimated Earth's ability to adapt and fight back. The fleet's commanders, along with the brilliant minds behind the scenes, had been preparing for this moment. Humanity had been hiding its strength, but now that the world's hidden fleet had revealed itself, the aliens realized that Earth was far more dangerous than they had believed. Yet, despite their surprise and newfound strength, Earth's fleet was still outnumbered, and reinforcements for the aliens were steadily on their way. Earth could not afford to rest on its laurels. Time was running out, and the alien threat was still very real. As the alien retreat continued, Earth's fleet regrouped in deep space, out of range of the enemy's remaining weapons. It was here, in the quiet of space, that Earth's commanders began to plan their next move. They knew the invaders were coming back in full force, but this time, they would be ready. One of Earth's top military strategists, Commander Elena Mitchell, stood before a holographic map of the galaxy, her brow furrowed as she studied the trajectories of the alien fleets. Their next attack would be decisive, she knew, and Earth had to act before the invaders had a chance to regroup. "We need to take the fight to them," Commander Mitchell said, her voice calm but filled with determination. "If we wait for them to come to Earth, it could be too late. We need to hit them before they can rebuild their forces." The room fell silent as the other commanders absorbed her words. The decision to take the fight directly to the alien invaders was not one to be taken lightly, but it was clear that Earth had no other choice. The alien forces would continue to press on until they had crushed humanity once and for all. The best defense, as Mitchell had suggested, was an overwhelming offense. Over the next few days, the entire fleet shifted gears. The ships that had once been used to defend Earth were now preparing for an offensive mission deeper into alien territory. Commander Mitchell's plan was simple yet dangerous: to infiltrate the heart of the alien fleet and strike at their command structures, disabling them before they could react. The risk was enormous, but it was humanity's best chance. Back on Earth, the military leadership was in constant communication with the fleet. The stakes were high, and the atmosphere was tense. Civilians who had once been oblivious to the war now watched with bated breath, knowing that their fate hung in the balance. Humanity had proven its strength, but the next phase would determine if it could survive as a free and independent species. The tension mounted as Earth's fleet prepared for its bold move. The alien forces were unaware of the full scale of the human response, and Earth's commanders intended to keep it that way. Stealth and precision would be their allies in the coming days. As the human fleet hurtled deeper into the alien-controlled sectors of the galaxy, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Every crew member knew what was at stake. Their mission was simple: disable the alien command and communication hubs, break the invaders' coordination, and sow chaos within their ranks. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath as Earth's ships slipped past alien defenses, silently moving through the darkness of space. Earth's fleet was no longer hiding. They were on the offensive. For the first time in the war, the alien invaders were the ones caught off guard. The human fleet was upon them, and they were not prepared for the fight that was coming. As the first attacks hit, the alien forces scrambled to react. But Earth's ships had already breached their defenses. Precision strikes on alien outposts sent shockwaves through the invaders' command structure. The element of surprise was on humanity's side, and for the first time, the aliens were forced to react, not with confidence, but with panic. Back on Earth, the military leaders watched as the strikes unfolded, each successful mission boosting the morale of the fleet. This was the edge humanity needed: an opportunity to strike when the enemy was most vulnerable. The war had reached a critical turning point, and there was no turning back. But even as humanity pushed forward, One question remained in the back of everyone's mind. How long could Earth maintain this offensive? With the alien fleet still vast and their reinforcements on the way, humanity's window of opportunity was narrowing. They had to act fast. As the first wave of Earth's offensive continued, the aliens had no idea that this was only the beginning. The real fight was just getting started, and humanity was ready to take it all the way. The war had now entered a phase that could determine the future of humanity. Earth's fleet had gained momentum and landed some crucial blows to the alien invaders, but the victory had not been without a price. Every move, every strike was taking its toll. The alien forces were not just relentless. They were also adapting quickly. They had learned from their losses and were now regrouping with greater resolve. Earth's fleet had proven it could fight back, but the next move would be the most dangerous of all. In the command centers on Earth, the mood had shifted from hope to grim determination. The stakes had never been higher. Commander Elena Mitchell, who had led humanity's counterattack, stood in front of a new holographic map that showed the alien fleet's movements. The invaders were close to reaching Earth's solar system, and their numbers had swollen as they had called upon every last ship and soldier they could muster. "We don't have much time." Commander Mitchell's voice cut through the silence in the room. "If we allow them to enter our system, we will lose the advantage. The plan needs to be executed now." The plan was risky, desperate even, but it was the only way to end the war before it could escalate beyond control. Earth's military leaders had devised a daring strategy that would take the fight straight to the alien homeworld. It was a bold offensive designed to cripple the invaders' ability to launch any more attacks. If it succeeded, Earth could turn the tide in its favor and force a decisive end to the war. The mission required precision, secrecy, and speed. The core idea was simple. Earth's fleet would sneak into the heart of the alien fleet and destroy their primary command and communication hubs. This would cripple their ability to coordinate and effectively command their forces. In essence, if Earth's fleet could sever the head of the alien war machine, the body would collapse. A small group of elite ships would lead the charge, armed with advanced technology that could bypass the alien defenses. The rest of the fleet would create a distraction to draw attention away from the true target. The human forces had to operate under the cover of surprise, striking fast before the alien forces had a chance to retaliate. The success of this mission would require everything humanity had: strategic brilliance, unwavering resolve, and a willingness to make the ultimate sacrifice. As the plan took shape, Commander Mitchell gathered the top officers of the fleet to go over the details. This was no ordinary mission. It was a gamble for the survival of Earth. "We know the risks," Mitchell said, her eyes scanning the room. "But this is the only shot we have. If we fail, Earth will be open to invasion. But if we succeed, the aliens will be crippled, and we will have a chance to win this war. There's no turning back now." With the mission briefing complete, the human fleet moved out, navigating the space lanes in the quiet darkness. The battle had come to a point where Earth's survival rested on a razor's edge, and Commander Mitchell knew that the decisions made in the coming hours would shape the course of history. As the fleet approached the aliens' command center, the tension was palpable. Every ship was prepared for what was about to happen, but there was no predicting how the aliens would react. They had been humiliated by Earth's fleet before, but this mission was different. It would strike at the very heart of their war machine. The elite strike force, equipped with cloaking technology and stealth capabilities, inched closer to the alien flagship, an immense structure at the center of the alien fleet. Its dark, menacing silhouette loomed in the distance, a symbol of the alien invaders' power and their sense of superiority. The closer the humans got, the more dangerous it became. One wrong move, and the alien fleet could detect them and unleash their full wrath. Commander Mitchell's voice crackled through the comms. "All units, hold your position. We are in their territory now. Stay sharp. We strike at the moment we have the element of surprise." The tension among the fleet's crew members was thick. Every heart raced as the strike force got closer to their target. Time seemed to slow. With each passing minute, the stakes grew higher. There was no turning back. Every individual on that ship was prepared to give their all for Earth, for humanity's future, and for the survival of everyone back home. The moment arrived, a brief but intense burst of action, as Earth's fleet launched their assault on the alien command center. The ships in the strike force used their advanced stealth tech to infiltrate deep within the alien fleet's perimeter. The enemy was caught off guard, unable to react in time as the first wave of attacks did. Energy blasts ripped through the alien flagship's defensive shields. The aliens tried to retaliate, but they had no idea who or what they were up against. The human fleet's strike force had breached their most secure defenses, and now chaos reigned within their command center. The alien commanders scrambled to organize their forces, but it was too late. The human strike force was relentless, cutting through their defenses with surgical precision. One by one, key alien command systems were destroyed, their communications severed, and their ability to coordinate shattered. As the destruction mounted, the alien forces began to panic. Without their command center, they were no longer a unified force. Ships in the outer edges of the fleet stopped responding, while others turned and fled, disoriented by the sudden chaos. Meanwhile, the rest of Earth's fleet launched a full-scale offensive, targeting weakened enemy ships and eliminating any remaining resistance. The alien fleet, once a terrifying symbol of power, was now in disarray. The invaders had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. But Commander Mitchell knew they had no time to celebrate. The battle had been won, but the war was not over yet. The invaders were not finished. The true test of humanity's resilience was about to unfold, and Earth's fleet had to be ready for whatever came next. As the alien fleet struggled to regroup, Earth's forces made their final push. The fate of the galaxy rested in their hands, and humanity was determined to prove that, despite all odds, it would be the one to decide how the future would unfold. The battle had ended, but the consequences of it would echo across the stars for centuries to come. The alien invaders, once so certain of their dominance, had been decisively defeated. The core of their fleet had been shattered, their command structure utterly crippled. The remaining alien ships had no clear leadership, and they began to disband, scattered across the galaxy. The invading force was broken, and Earth had emerged victorious. However, Commander Elena Mitchell knew better than to believe that peace would come easily. As Earth's fleet returned home, the crew members felt a mixture of relief and exhaustion. The victory was theirs. But the scars of the war were visible in every person's face. Hundreds of thousands had been lost in the conflict, both military personnel and civilians, and the path to recovery would be long. There was no way to erase the pain of the past months, but there was something more powerful now: hope. Mitchell stood on the observation deck of the flagship, gazing out at the stars. The journey back to Earth would take days, but her mind was already focused on the future. They had faced the impossible and come out on top, but they had also learned a valuable lesson. Humanity was capable of achieving greatness when they came together. The invaders had underestimated Earth, assuming that the human race was weak and divided, but they had learned the hard way that the will to survive and the determination to protect one's home could never be discounted. The fleet's return to Earth was met with jubilation. The streets were lined with cheering crowds, and every city celebrated as if it were the dawn of a new era. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage, and now the galaxy would remember that Earth was not to be underestimated. The victory had secured the future of humanity, but it had also changed the relationship between Earth and the stars. In the aftermath of the war, the galaxy's other factions watched closely. The once smug and indifferent empires now viewed Earth with a new sense of respect, even fear. They understood that humanity was not just a small, isolated planet. It was a force to be reckoned with. Earth's hidden fleet had become a symbol of humanity's ingenuity, resilience, and determination. A reminder that no matter how dire the situation, Earth would always find a way to survive. But despite the celebrations, Commander Mitchell knew that the work was far from over. Earth had won this battle, but the larger galactic war was still unfolding. The remaining alien factions would regroup and plan their next move. Earth would need to remain vigilant. The victory had given humanity a brief respite, but the challenges ahead were just as daunting. In the days that followed, Earth began to rebuild. The wounds of war would take time to heal, but humanity was determined to move forward. The victory had ignited a sense of unity and purpose that hadn't existed before. Nations that had once been at odds now stood together, united by a common purpose. Earth had won the war, not through brute force, but through unity, innovation, and the relentless spirit of its people. The Hidden Fleet, once a myth, had become a symbol of Earth's power. It was now a permanent part of the planet's defense strategy, ready to defend humanity from any threat that might come their way. But the fleet's true strength lay not in its weapons or ships, but in the people who made it a reality. The scientists, engineers, and soldiers who had worked tirelessly to build it had shown the galaxy what Earth was truly capable of. As the sun rose over Earth, Commander Mitchell stood once again on the observation deck of the flagship. The fleet was docked, and the war was over, but her mind raced with thoughts of what came next. The universe was vast, and humanity had only just begun to explore it. The alien invaders had learned a harsh lesson, but the galaxy was still full of unknowns. There would be new challenges, new allies, and new enemies. But Earth would face them all with the same resilience and determination that had won them this war. The fight was far from over, but for now, Earth could rest, knowing that it had shown the galaxy the true strength of humanity. As the flagship prepared to return to Earth's orbit, Commander Mitchell spoke quietly to herself. Earth will rise, no matter what. And as the fleet soared back home, the galaxy would never forget the name of the planet that had faced its darkest hour and emerged victorious. Humanity had awakened, and with it, a new era had begun.